Hello everyone, good morning. How are you all? So yes, we are here again with all the previous year questions from SSC different examinations which includes CPO, CHSL. Then we have Steno. So there are several examinations and we have combined all the important questions here. And let's see who will be the first one to answer this. So we have the first question of the day and that's it. Ice is actually packed in sawdust. So there must be some reason behind it, right? So what is the reason behind packing ice in a sawdust? So we have four options here. Let's see who will answer this. So waiting for the answer, please. And everyone who's there in the session, please like it, share it, and yes, everyone is requested to start comment. Yes, who would be the first one to answer this? And I'm waiting for the comments from everyone. Then I'll proceed forward. So first of all, if I'll talk about this part where we are talking about ice and all, so the first thing that comes into our mind is, so when we are talking about ice, this means we are talking about what? It is the solid form of water. Now, if I'm talking about the solid form of water, that is after the freezing point or after reaching that freezing point, that is when ice is actually made below this 0 degree centigrade or at 0 degree centigrade. I can talk about water's freezing point is at 0 degree centigrade. So Akhilesh has already given the answer that sawdust will not get melt easily. See, Akhilesh, if you will go with this answer, option number B, just have a look. It is not saying that ice will not get melted easily. It is saying what? It is saying that sawdust will not get melted easily. So these type of questions are actually framed in such a manner that those options also which we know it would be wrong, then also we take that as a correct answer. So Akhilesh, you're getting my point. Here, it is not saying that we are talking about ice. It is not talking about ice. It is talking about what? It is talking about sawdust here. That's why this option is wrong. Now, yes, very good. So when we are talking about this ice part, we know that its freezing point is at 0 degree centigrade. That is for the water. And here water is solidifying. When water will solidify, what will happen? We know that if I will bring this water into the surrounding, it will start melting. That is, this ice will start melting. So what I can do, I can use that particular thing which will be bad conductor of heat. And yes, if I talk about sawdust, sawdust is actually poor conductor of heat, because of which it will prevent ice from melting. So Akhilesh, very good. Your answer is totally correct. Answer number D, that is option number D, will be correct here. Next question is, which of the following metal has the maximum thermal conductivity? Now, we have iron here, aluminium here, copper here, silver here. What do you think? Which one would be the element which is having the maximum thermal conductivity? Can you answer this part? Answer please. Let's see, Akhilesh, can you answer this part? So Akhilesh is with B but is in doubt. See Akhilesh, if I talk about the thermal conductivity now, please remember here the correct answer is going to be silver. But it's not only about thermal conductivity. One more thing is, if I talk about electrical conductivity, if I talk about electricity part as well, so for the electrical conductivity also, which is the best one? The best part is silver. And this question is repeatedly asked in the examination. Please do not forget, conductivity means what? Conductivity means it is easily allowing that particular part. For example, heat conductivity. So it is easily allowing the transfer of heat. If I talk about electrical conductivity, it is easily allowing those particular electrons to pass, or in short, I'll say that easy flow of electricity would be there. So yes, if I talk about the best, so here silver is going to be the correct answer. Okay, so great. Next question, please. A body absorbs maximum amount of heat when it is dash. Now from this question we know, okay Glisher, from this question we know that if I talk about this body and this maximum amount of heat, that is, we can talk about summer season. In summer, we are advised to wear white, and for winter, it's better to wear black color dress. There's a reason behind it. Now what is that reason? If I talk about black, black surface absorbs more amount of heat, whereas if I talk about white, it is actually acting as a reflector. It is totally opposite. So yes, Akhilesh is saying that it would be A. That is, for the body which is absorbing the maximum amount of heat, it will be black. And yes, along with that, it must be rough in nature, and hence Akhilesh is totally correct here. Next question is, in winter season, water comes out from a hand pump. Now, water which is coming out from hand pump, it looks that it is quite hotter. Now, why is it so? So this everyone has tested this part, and obviously winter season has already started here. If I'll talk about the winter season, whenever we are talking about those hand pump water or submersible water, which comes from the earth, it is actually hotter. Why? So we have four options here. Let's see who will be able to answer this. And everyone who is there in the session, now please start answering this so that we can have lots of discussion. So yeah, still waiting. Acha, you must be checking the answers, huh? And here surroundings is actually hiding. So I'll tell you the fourth option is written. Water comes out from the earth and it gains heat from the surrounding. C is due to pumping function is produced which causes heat and makes water hot. B is temperature inside the earth's temperature is more than the atmospheric temperature, and fourth one is in a winter our body temperature remains low, so water makes us feel hot. So Akhleshwar is going with B, and actually you are in doubt, but no Akhleshwar, you are absolutely correct. You must not be in doubt. It's very obvious. Just have a look at the scenario. If I talk about earth, so if I talk about the atmosphere here, if I talk about the atmosphere, so in the atmosphere region, the temperature, let us see the temperature is what, we'll say for example, let's say temperature is 2 degrees centigrade for example. And inside what earth, let us say it's obviously more than that, but I'm just giving the example. Let's say inside the earth temperature of the water is 4 degrees centigrade. Now if you will try to compare this particular temperature with this temperature, obviously this is more hotter, right? So the same thing is written here. Inside the earth's temperature is more, right, than the atmospheric, or we'll talk about that particular temperature which is outside the earth. If I'll try to compare it that, obviously it would be more hotter, and that's why it feels hotter. So very good. Here option number B, that is inside the earth's temperature is more than the atmospheric temperature, that is correct answer. Next, convection occurs in which of the following? So you have four options here. Let's see. Akhleshwar and all the other candidates who are there in the session, please start giving answers. What do you think? Convection occurs in which of the following? And yes, this question is very important for the examination. Convection occurs in which of the following? Is it only solid and liquid? Is it only liquid and gases? Is it only gases and solid? Or is it solid, liquid, gases? So Akhleshwar is going with B. Sir, it would be only liquid and gases. And that's 100% true. Absolutely correct. Great, Akhleshwar. Now what's that? If I'll talk about this convection part, we know when we talk about this convection, this means we are talking about the heat flow. And heat may flow in three different scenarios. First condition is, if I talk about conduction, in this condition or in this conduction process, molecules are at its same position, but they are actually vibrating. Now if I'll go with this part, that is convection. If I'll go with this convection part, here molecules are changing its position. Now it's very obvious, molecules cannot change position in the solids, right? So it would be only taking place in liquids and gases, but it can take place in solid, liquid, gas, everything. Radiation don't require any medium. So when we are talking about convection, here only liquid and gases will be the correct answer, and Akhleshwar, you are 100% true here. Next, the hottest part of the flame is dash. Hottest part of the flame. If I talk about a flame, it's actually in this manner. First, which is the hottest part of the flame? So we have four options here. Let's see who can answer this. And everyone who is there in session, please start answering. Which is the hottest part of the flame? Akhleshwar is saying, sir, it would be blue. That means you are talking about option number B, right? And others who are there in the session, please try to answer this part, because this one is again important. It is asked in the examination again and again. So if I'll talk about this part, please remember, we have different zones. We have blue zone, we have luminous zone, we have non-luminous zone. Here, non-luminous zone would be the correct answer. That is option number A. Fine. Okay. Next we have, which of the following is an insulator? So is it copper, wood, mercury, or aluminium? So we have four options. Now you must be worried. Sir, you are talking about insulator. Yeah, Saurabh was absolutely correct there. Awesome, Saurabh. Now talking about this question, insulator. Now insulator, so what kind of insulator you are talking about? If I'll talk about this insulator, here this means we are talking about electrical part also, and we are talking about heat part as well. So heat insulator and electrical insulator both. So what will be its answer? Obvious, very obvious. So Akhleshwar and Saurabh, you are absolutely correct. If I'm talking about wood, that means it is not going to allow the movement of electrons, obviously, so there would be no conductivity of the electricity. And the same thing is happening with the heat as well. So very good. Option number B is going to be the correct answer. Yeah, absolutely correct. Let me tell you, Akhilesh here, and Saurav is also here. When we talk about blue flame now, that is the location where maximum, or I'll say that complete combustion is taking place. I'll give you the example. If you are talking about your gases, those particular gas on which we cook food, I'm not talking about induction, I'm talking about those LPG connected gases. When we talk about those gases, we know that blue flame is coming there, right? If there is yellowish flame along with that, this means it is not burning in the proper manner, and yes, whichever vessel you are using or utensil you are using above that gas, that will become blackish if it is not totally blue. So we must keep on check, we must have a check over there that it must be totally blue so that you can have the best gas part over there. Okay, and that was true, Akhilesh. Next we have, which one of the following methods of heat transfer? We have just discussed about it. Which one of the following is the method of heat transfer? Is it convection, evaporation, revolution, or thermal expansion? Now, if I talk about thermal expansion, we can talk about solid, liquid, or gases where once they are heated, they actually expand, and that is thermal expansion. If I talk about revolution, it's not the process of heat transfer, right? What is it? It is actually moving in such a manner where, if I talk about the movement of the earth, for example, when the earth is actually moving around the sun or any of the planet, that is known as revolution. And what is rotation? Spinning on its own axis, that is rotation. If I talk about evaporation, obviously evaporation is what? It's not the method of heat transfer. It is a process in which that liquid is converting into the gaseous phase. So obviously B, C and D are cancelled. The correct answer is A. So Saurav, Akhilesh, you are totally correct. Here we'll talk about the methods. So the first one is conduction. Conduction, where the molecules are vibrating at its own location. Next, convection, where molecules are changing its position. And then comes radiation, where the molecules are actually not requiring any, there is no such particular medium over there for this radiation part. Okay, so here option number A was correct. Next, first law of thermodynamics is normally related to what? Is it law of conservation of energy? Is it Newton's law of cooling? Is it Boyle's law, or is it Chsl law? What is the correct answer here? So my question is, first law of thermodynamics is normally related to what? So Saurav, Akhilesh, can you answer this part? First law of thermodynamics is related to what? Answer please. And everyone who's there in the session, please start liking and sharing. Okay, so Akhilesh is going with option A, Saurav is also with A. Okay, we'll talk about the first law of thermodynamics. It is normally related to what? So it is actually related to the law of conservation of energy. Now what is that? If I talk about law of conservation of energy, this means energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be changed from one form to another. That is, it can be changed to different forms, but it can neither be created nor destroyed. Where, if I talk about any of the part, where I can talk about, for example, dynamo. In dynamo, what is happening? Mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. If I talk about a fan, what is happening? Electrical energy is converted to the mechanical energy. If I talk about iron, let's see who will give this answer. If I talk about electric iron, can you answer me which particular part of energy is converted into which part? Akhilesh or Saurav, waiting for the answer. If I talk about the law of conservation of energy, there I am taking several examples. We have talked, I have discussed about the dynamo, mechanical to electrical, then electric fan, that is electric energy to mechanical energy. What about this? Totally correct, very obvious. If I talk about this part here, electricity is used, but it is converted into the heat energy. So electric to heat energy, totally correct, Saurav and Akhilesh. Great. Next, talking about, okay, so we have example official application here, which is one-stop solution for all the government job aspirants. We have live paid courses with the test series. We have free subject wise and topic wise quiz with the report card. Then job alert, admit card, exam date, all exam previous year PDF with the solution. Then we have topic wise free live classes, free exam wise PDF, practice at PDF, and the most important thing, daily, weekly, monthly current affairs. All these things at a single platform. Just go to Play Store, type Example over there, click on the install button, click on the open part, just do the registration and start using it. Next, what is not true about temperature? So we have 4 options here. What do you think? What is not true about temperature? What is going to be the correct answer? Akhilesh and Saurav, both of you. And everyone else who's there in the session, who's watching it, please, please, please start giving answers. Let's see who can answer this part. Akhleshwar is going with B. Sir, it is measured in degrees centigrade as a SI unit. Totally correct. If I talk about this part, Saurav has already given the answer. Said it would be Kelvin. True. If I talk about this part, it is asked which is not true. Obviously, it is one of the 7 base SI units where I can talk about mole, I can talk about ampere, I can talk about kilogram, I can talk about second, right? Then I can talk about candela. We have K. What is this K? We knew when we talk about this temperature, we have several units for that. It may be degree centigrade, it may be degree Fahrenheit, it may be Reamer, it may be Rankine, anything. But SI unit is always one. That is, it is same for everything. Sorry, it is actually only single part where if I talk about temperature, it's only and only Kelvin. So yes, here it is shown that it is measured in degree centigrade. No, it's not measured in Celsius. In the SI unit, it is measured in Kelvin. Totally correct. Now, since we are talking about Kelvin, there's a temperature that is absolute temperature. Absolute temperature. Now, this question is from Chsl part, or I'll talk about higher level. So, let's see Akhleshwar or Saurav, who would be the first one to answer this? What is the absolute temperature in degree in Kelvin? Can you answer this? I'll not say degree Kelvin, it is only Kelvin. So, yes. What is the absolute temperature in Kelvin? Who will answer this? Will it be Saurav or Akhleshwar? Who will be the first one to answer this? Very good. So Akhleshwar is the first one here. Saurav, are you aware of this answer? And again, I'll say I'm asking in Kelvin. Answer, please. Answer. Saurav, still waiting for the answer. I know. Here, mistakes can be there. And since this question is again and again asked, that's why I need to ask it. Akhleshwar, if I talk about this absolute temperature and you will say that, sir, it would be minus 273, you will be wrong. This is not the correct answer. Saurav, you are also going with the same story. Here, you must remember, Kelvin is never in negative. The minimum value for Kelvin is what? That is 0 Kelvin. I gave you this trick also. Okay, remember? Yes, absolute temperature or absolute zero is that particular temperature in which all the molecular motion ceases. And that value is actually 0 Kelvin. And yes, 0 Kelvin. And if I'll talk about degree centigrade, then you both of you were correct. That is minus 273.15 degrees centigrade. Got my point? So yes, great that you knew the answer. No issues, Akhleshwar. Actually, it's my work. I know where you people will be wrong. That's why I'm taking these questions again and again. This part, please do not forget. For this Kelvin part, it is never going to be 0. And this is the trick. Okay? Yes. Okay. Okay. 0 Kelvin. Right? So, I guess now you will never be wrong. So, here, please remember, for absolute temperature, it would be 0 Kelvin where all the molecular motion ceases. Next. To measure very high temperature, we use what? Is it mercury thermometer? Is it platinum resistance thermometer? Is it thermoelectric pyrometer or none of the above? What is the correct answer here? Saurav, Akhleshwar, what do you think? What will be the correct answer here? To measure very high temperatures, we are using what? Akhleshwar is in doubt, sir. It would be C. Saurav, you are going with A, mercury thermometer, right? Okay. See, here please remember, Saurav, just think about a scenario. If I talk about very high temperature, now just think, if I'm talking about 3000 degrees centigrade, what will happen over here? Since it is a very high temperature, if you will take mercury over there, do you think mercury will exist? No. We know that there's a limit where we have melting point also. That is, we can talk about freezing point also, and we can talk about boiling point as well. And there must be some temperature at which that particular element may vaporize, right? So yes, if I talk about very high temperature, their mercury thermometer cannot be used. Saurav, the thing is that if I talk about clinical thermometer, no buddy? Yeah, totally correct. Very good, Saurav. If I talk about clinical thermometer, where we are checking about we are talking about our body's temperature, that is, if we need to measure that 32 degrees centigrade or 35 degrees centigrade, it's okay. But for very high temperature, you need to go for pyrometers. This is very important question, repeatedly asked in the examination. Got my point? So Akhilesh and Saurav, very good. Totally correct. The correct answer is going to be option number C, that is thermoelectric pyrometer. Okay, cool. Now we have next question. Gas thermometers are more sensitive than liquid thermometer. Why? What do you think? Gas thermometers are more sensitive than liquid thermometers. Now there must be some reason behind it. So what is that reason? Gas thermometers? Akhilesh is going with A. But since gas is having a larger coefficient of expansion, others and everyone else, remember that part. If I talk about this ratio alpha, beta, gamma, it's 1:2:3. Remember na? So Saurav, still waiting for your answer. Okay, so Akhilesh is totally correct here. If I talk about gas thermometers, they are more sensitive than this liquid thermometer. Why? Because these gases are actually having higher or large coefficient of expansion. With the low temperature also, there would be expansion. So yes, it's absolutely correct. Option number A is going to be the correct answer. Akhilesh or Saurav, both of you are correct. Next, the temperature of boiling water in a steam engine may be high because of what? There are dissolved substances in the water, there is low pressure inside the boiler, there is high pressure inside the boiler, or the fire is at a very high temperature. What do you think? The temperature of a boiling water in a steam engine may be high because of which particular reason? Let's see who can answer this part. Saurav is going with C, and it's quite logical as well. So Akhilesh is also with C. Obviously, if I talk about a boiler, I know that inside that boiler, there must be very high pressure, right? And since there would be very high pressure, we can talk about the temperature, we can compare it with the temperature. High pressure inside the boiler. Great, Saurav. Absolutely correct. If I talk about the temperature of a boiling water in a steam engine, it may be high. Why? Because there would be high pressure inside the boiler. Next. What is triple point of water? So we have 4 options here. Let's see who can give this answer. We have 2 options in Kelvin and 2 options in degree centigrade. Akhilesh, Saurav. Yeah. How it will reduce, buddy? See, we are talking about the pressure over there. Obviously, it would be there would be higher pressure. And yes, because of that pressure, now you can compare it with the temperature. So Akhilesh is going with option number A, that is 273.16 Kelvin. And Saurav is going with C option. Okay. See, Akhilesh, if I try to go with this temperature, just try to have a look. If I'll go with this temperature, then just try to compare this part. It would be what? It would be 0.16 Celsius. It would be 0.15 degrees centigrade. It would be 0 degrees centigrade. And it would be 100 degrees centigrade. Now, if I'll try to compare all these options, the best part is going to be what? This. Why? Because the exact value is 0.01 degrees centigrade. And for these questions, we must remember we have to click on the answer which has the nearest value. And the nearest value which is present here is of 0.01 degrees centigrade. Right? Now, there's a one thing. Now, what is that? If I'll go with this option 0 degree centigrade, this is the direct conversion over there, right? But the main thing is, what is this a triple point? So we must understand, if I'll go with this triple point, what is it? Triple point is that particular temperature at which water is existing in all the 3 states. What is that? In the solid also, in the liquid also, and in the gas also, right? So here, if I try to go with this part, please remember, triple point is a temperature at which what is existing in the solid state also, liquid also, and gas also. And I have already given the example of an ice cube, where you can check the vapor. That particular vapors which are present, they are representing what? Gaseous state. If I talk about that ice that is in the solid form, and the ice which has started melting, that liquid part, liquid. So yes, solid liquid gases, and the exact temperature here is 0.01 degrees centigrade. I actually tried to make that particular options, but that option will go wrong in this manner, because that particular temperature is actually 0.01 degrees centigrade, and that is the correct answer. Okay, so here let's move forward to the next question. We have soldering of two metals is possible due to the property of what? Soldering. What is this soldering? During Diwali times, you might have used those particular lighting products, where in Hindi we call it jhalar, right? In which we have combination of several bulbs, and if wire breaks from any of the part, they will not actually lighten up, and here we need to add them up. Now how we are going to use that? We will be using soldering material, where we have discussed the soldering in the chemistry part, and here when we are talking about the joining part, here you will talk about cohesion. So yes, absolutely, if I talk about the soldering of two metals, they are actually possible only due to the property of cohesion. There is no such logic of diffraction, viscosity, or surface tension over here. The correct answer is going to be cohesion. Very, very important. Next we have supercooling stands for the cooling of a liquid dash. Answer please. Akhilesh, your answer is pending, I guess. Acha, you have already given the answer. Great. So Akhilesh and Saurabh, both of you were correct. And everyone else who is there in the session, please start answering, because these questions are repeatedly asked in the examinations and they are very, very important. Yeah. What do you think? Supercooling stands for the cooling of a liquid at what? At freezing point, at melting point, below freezing point, or above melting point. What's it? So Saurav and Akhilesh, both of them are going with C. And that's totally correct. If I talk about supercooling, normally if I talk about cooling part, where I can talk about even freezing point. So for water we know that at 0 degrees centigrade water is freezing. So cooling of the water at freezing point is understood. But if I'll go with the supercooling part, it's below freezing point. So yes, here option number C, that is below freezing point, is going to be the correct answer. Next we have cryogenic science is related to what? Cryogenic science is related to what? And everyone who's there in the session, please start like it, please start commenting, and please like it. Yes, answer please. Cryogenic science is related with what? Saurav is saying low temperature. Okay. Akhilesh is also going with low temperature. Others, only two of them are giving answer, and they are absolutely correct. Great. So if I talk about this cryogenic science, it is actually the part of physics, where if I talk about it, so it would be at low temperature. So option number B is going to be the correct answer. Next, woolen clothes protects the body from cold because it is a good conductor of heat, poor conductor of heat, external heat rays enter the body through the woolen clothes, or it reflects heat. What do you think? What is going to be the correct answer? And if I try to go with the logic, I can get the answer. So what do you think? Answer? Obviously. So Akhilesh and Saurav are going with option number A. And if I talk about this particular part, just have a look. Woolen clothes, they are protecting body from cold. Why? If I'll say that they are good conductor of heat or poor conductor of heat, so here it would be what? Here option number is going to be poor conductor, right? So yes, they are actually preventing. Why? Because they are actually the poor conductor of heat. Okay, so we'll go with option number B here. Next, lens is made up of what? Now this question is again and again asked in the examination. Do not forget. Lens is made up of what? Answer please. And everyone who's there in this session, please start answering this. Lens is made up of what? Answer please. Saurav is with B and Akhilesh is going with A. Others, do you want to try this answer? Because this is important. No one? Yeah. Saurabh, yeah, that's true. If I'll talk about, yeah, so we have Siddharam here, and Siddharam Loni is going with B. Absolutely correct. If I'm talking about lenses, so those lenses are actually made up of flint glasses, right? Now, since we are talking about lens, We are aware of they are made up of flint glasses. Now let's go into the details. When we talk about lens, we have two different type of lenses. If I'll go with lenses, now let's go with the optical physics part. If I'm going with the lenses, it would be of two different types. One would be convex and another would be concave. Now if I want to have a larger image, my next question is, if I want to have magnified image, so what do you think? What I'm going to use? Will it be convex or concave? Everyone. Siddharam, Saurabh and Aklisha. If I want a magnified image, I will be using convex or concave. And with the one answer itself, we will be coming forward with the another question. So there is one more question from the mirror part that I would be asking. So yes, Aklisha is saying, sir, it would be convex. Siddharam and Saurabh, do you think Aklisha is correct here? Are you all going with Aklisha? Yeah, totally correct. So Siddharam, Aklisha, both of you are correct. Great. So, Saurabh, awesome. If I'll talk about this convex part, please remember it will be acting as a magnifying lens. And yes, if I'll talk about mirror, one more thing. If I'll talk about mirror, I'm not talking about plane mirror. I'm just talking about convex and concave. This is important. Now here I want to ask, for the magnifying image, what will I use? Which mirror is to be used? Let's see who can answer this. This answer itself will give us 4 answers now. Magnified lens was giving us, that was convex, that was giving us magnifying image, right? What if I want that same thing in the mirror? What will I use? Saurabh, Siddharam, Aklisha. Who will be the first one to answer this? Totally correct. Saurabh, absolutely correct. Here I'll be going with concave. Now what is the thing which is asked in the examination? It is asked, if I'll talk about these mirrors, these are used by ENT doctors. These are used by dentists. If I'll talk about convex, it is used in side mirrors. Side mirror. So the main thing which I wanted to tell you, mirrors and lens are totally opposite. They are absolutely opposite. Why? If I talk about, obviously, Akhilesh, got your answer now? So if I talk about this particular part, where I'm talking about lenses and mirrors, they will be totally opposite in nature. Okay. So next question is, people suffering from protanopia are unable to perceive any dash light. What is the correct answer here? Protanopia. Now you must be wondering, sir, what is this protanopia? So answer please. First answer, then I'll be explaining this. Saurav was asking about rear view mirror. Na? Rear view mirror, the same thing which I have discussed. Convex mirror would be the correct answer, Aklisha, right? Yeah. So people suffering from protanopia are unable to perceive any dash light. What is the correct answer here? Protanopia. Aklisha is going with C. That is a blue. Saurav, what do you think? Answer please. Saurav is saying, sir, all. In rear view mirrors, objects seems to be more closer than they actually are. That line which you are talking about, now, this is the line, this is the statement which is given there. Now, if I talk about this protanopia, it is actually the condition of color blindness. Color blindness, where we can face the issue in green, red, and blue. Now, since we are talking about this color blindness, where we are talking about these two particular issues, remember there are two issues. One is protanopia and another one is deuteranopia. Deuteranopia. If I talk about protanopia, please remember here you will be talking about red color. If I'm talking about deuteranopia, you will be talking about green color. If I'll talk about in a normal scenario, yes, all of them would be the correct answer. But if it is asked for specifically pretanopia and they are discussing about deuteranopia also, so in that condition, you will say that people who are suffering from pretanopia, they are unable to perceive any red light. That is option number B will be correct. But normally, the scenario is, if I talk about this color blindness part, there red, green, blue, they are not able to perceive these colors, right? So it is actually the part of color blindness. Next. Who defined the law of gravitation? Was he Newton? Was he Archimedes? Was he Galileo? Or was he Faraday? What would be the correct answer? Answer please. What is the correct answer over here? Saurav is saying, sir, it would be Newton. Akhilesh, and all the other candidates who are there in the session, please start answering. Siddharam is going with A, Newton. Akhilesh, your answer is pending. Till then, I'll explain this part. When I'm talking about law of gravitation says what? It says any of the object which is present, and if it is having mass, all those objects which are present and they are having the mass in the universe, here law of gravitation is applicable. That is, if I'm talking about this pen, if I'm talking about this water bottle, everything has mass. If any of the object is having mass, there this law will be applicable, right? So yes, who gave this law? This law was given by Newton. So option number A, that is Newton, will be the correct answer. Siddharam, Saurav, Akhilesh, absolutely correct. Great. Next, the radius of an atomic nucleus is of the order of what? Now this question is asked in the examination. Very important question. When we are talking about any of the atomic nucleus, so you have to tell me its radius is in the order of what? So Akhilesh is going with C, that is 10 to the power minus 15. Saurav is going with D, 10 to the power minus 8. Siddharam, your answer is pending. Siddharam Loni, what do you think? What is the correct answer? Will it be 10 to the power minus 10? Will it be 10 to the minus 13? And please remember, there are units also which are given here. So Akhilesh, can you have a look at those particular units? So one of the answer is with C, one is with D, and this is very important. Again and again asked in the examination. Let's see. The radius of the atomic nucleus is of the order of what? So here, let me tell you, Akhilesh, it's not given in meters, right? It is in centimeter. So here, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be option number B. That is 10 to the power minus 13 centimeter. Do not forget, it is very, very important for the examination. Okay, let's move forward to the next question now. Next we have Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment related to the size of the dash. So was it nucleus, atom, electron or neutron? What is the correct answer? Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. It was related to what? Answer please. So Saurav is the first one to answer, so it would be nuclear. Next. Akhilesh is going with C. That is, sir, it would be electron. Siddharam, your answer is left. Udbhav is going with C. Great. So Udbhav has his answer. He is going with electron. And then we have Shantu Datta with option number A. Okay. So if I'll talk about this particular part, please remember what was Rutherford's experiment. If I'll talk about Rutherford's experiment, it was actually directed high energy streams of alpha particles on a radioactive source at a thin sheet of what? So if I'll talk about this experiment, you remember gold foil experiment. What is that? It is gold foil experiment where this was being conducted. So yes, please remember here the correct answer is going to be what? Here the correct answer is going to be nucleus. So Shantu Datta, great, absolutely correct. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be nucleus. Now next question is Cn minus ion is isoelectronic with what? Now we know that if I'll talk about this isoelectronic, iso means what? Iso means we are talking about same. So here iso, same. Do you know electronic word? I guess you all remember when we were discussing it last time, we have told you if I'm talking about electronic, this means I'm talking about electronic configuration. So just try to have a link with the options. If I talk about Cn minus, remember atomic number of carbon is what? 6. Then if I talk about nitrogen, it's 7. And it is minus. That is, we are talking about Cn minus. And you remember when this minus sign used to come? Minus sign used to come when there's an extra electron over there, right? So here what I'll do, I'll just try to add up one more electron. Total number of electrons are what? 8 plus 6, that is 14. So for Cn minus, we have 14 electrons which are present. Now just try to link it with the options. Let's go with N2. N2, where nitrogen is how many electrons? It will be having 7. But since there are 2 nitrogen parts, so it would be 7 plus 7. That is, it is going to be 14 again. Isoelectronic. So it is asking which is having same electrons, obviously. So this and this are matching. A closure? One of the point has matched. But we can't skip second option, na? Just go with the second option now. CO. What do you think? Carbon. Okay, so Shantu is going with C. Okay, Shantu, great. But I'll be explaining this, then I'll be telling you answer whether it is wrong or right. Now talk about C. So we have carbon, number of electrons 6 over there. In the similar manner, if I'll talk about oxygen, it is 8. So I should try to add up it. If I'll try to add this 6 and 8, it will be 14 again. So Cn minus was having 14 electrons. It is isoelectronic with A and also isoelectronic with B. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be both A and B. So Shantu Datta, awesome. Heads off. So I guess it's your first class. I am seeing you for the first time in this class and it's great that you have given the correct answer. Akhilesh, I guess you got my point. So absolutely, option number A was correct, Akhilesh, but option number B is also correct here. That's why C will be the correct answer. Simple. Next. Which of the following is the maximum number of electrons that can be present in an M shell? Now, if I'll go with this part, yeah, Saurav, great. If I'll talk about this part, we are talking about what? M shell. First of all, let's have a look at the answers, then I'll explain this. So, Saurav, Akhileshwar, Shantu Datta, Udbhav, what would be the answer? Akhileshwar is going with A. Saurav is with A. Shantu, what's your answer? Yeah, Saurav is going with C. Huh? See, if I talk about these electrons, we know that if I talk about the number of shells, here the first shell which is present we represented by K, second shell by M, third shell by M, and so on. It goes like this. True? Now, Akhilesh is saying no, sir. It would be C. Okay, 18. Cool. Saurav is saying N shells 32. Great. Now, how is that? Let us see. So, we have a formula that is 2n square. So, for the first shell K, we have n's value as 1. So, it will be what? 2 into 1's square. So, the K shell is going to have 2 electrons in the outermost shell. Then talking about L, where n's value is 2. So, it would be 2 into 2's square. Using this formula, it would be 8. Talking about M, n's value is 3. So, it would be 2 into 3 square. 3 3s are 9 and 9 2s are 18. So, yes, for the M shell, we have 18 electrons. That is option number C would be correct here. Right? So, Akhileshwar, Saurav, awesome. Next. Which among the following will be a negative ion? What do you think? Answer please. Which among the following will be a negative ion? What do you think? What is the correct answer over here? And everyone who is there in the session, please, please, please like it and start answering this part. Very important for the examination. Yeah, what do you think? Which among the following will be a negative ion? Now, first of all, Saurav is going with A. Okay, so it will be having more electrons than protons. Akhileshwar is also going with A. Cool. Let's see. When I'm talking about negative ion, this means it will come what? It will come when there would be gaining of electron, right? So, here what is there? Here, gaining of electron is there. Now, just try to have a look at that particular scenario where I was talking about this. If there is a gain of electron, this means there's a number of protons which is fixed, right? Now, number of protons and number of electrons are equal. But if there is negative ion, this means one more electron has come. And in this case, what will happen? Number of protons are same. But one more electron has come. This means there will be more electron than proton, right? So here, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is, it will be negative ion if it is having more electron than the number of protons. Very good, Saurav. Totally correct. And Santu Datta, have you received this point, or should I explain this again? If you want the explanation, I'll explain this part again. What is happening? We know that number of protons and number of electrons are equal, right? So if I'll make it, so we have protons, neutrons here, and electrons are actually revolving around it. 2 electrons, for example, and here there might be 7 electrons, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now what has happened? Negative ion is formed when one more electron is gained. Now since one more electron has come, this means here number of protons will be lesser in comparison to electrons, and this is the thing where electrons are more in comparison to protons, and that's why we can see that it will be a negative ion. So which was very simple. Next, Fe has 26 protons in its nucleus. What is the number of electrons in Fe2 plus ion? Now this question is related with the previous one. We knew what is happening. Normally number of protons and number of electrons are same, but here now we have Fe2 plus ion. Fe2 plus ion, that means what? Here now number of protons will be lesser and number of protons will be more in comparison to electrons. There's a reason. What's that? Here we can see that there's 2 plus, and 2 plus means what? 2 electrons are actually donated. When 2 electrons are donated, there were total number of 26 electrons, because number of protons and electrons are same. There were 26 electrons. But what is done? We have 2 plus here. This means 2 electrons are lost. So here now it is 24 electrons. Simple. So Akleshwar, Saurav, absolutely correct. Shantu Datta, got this point? So here, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be 24. Absolutely correct, Saurav. Totally correct. Next. So we have exam for official application, which is one-stop solution for all the government job aspirants. We have live paid courses with the test series. We have free subject-wise and topic-wise quiz with the report card. We have job alert, admit card, examination date, all exam previous year PDF with the solution. Then we have free all India scholarship test with the report card. We have topic-wise free live classes, free full length and sectional test with the report card, free exam-wise PDF practice at PDF, daily, weekly, monthly current affairs, all these things at a single platform. No, class is not over, Saurav. The thing is that I'll be extending this class. We'll be having more time with you because sir is not feeling well, so he would not be there in the class. So next class is not starting right now. I'll be extending, right? Okay, so just go to the Play Store, type Exampur over there, click on the install button, click on the open part, just do the registration and start using it. Okay, so what do you think? Who discovered X-ray? Now this question is repeatedly asked in the examination, so I'll put triple star over here. Remember this part. Who discovered X-ray? What do you think? Was he Wilhelm Röntgen? Was he Lee? Was he Lulzwick? Or was he Thomson? So absolutely correct. Akleshwar is the first one to answer this. That is, it was option number A. Then Saurav is also going with A. Shantu, I guess you're also with the same. Absolutely correct. If I'll go with the Wilhelm Röntgen, that is going to be the correct answer, and he was the one who has discovered this X-ray. Next we have, which one of the following is not a radioactive element? So we have uranium, thorium, plutonium, zirconium. What do you think? And I'll give you a hint. If I'll talk about atomic reactors or those nuclear reactors, the particular element which is present, the element which is used in this nuclear reactors is which one? So is it uranium, thorium, plutonium, zirconium? Obviously uranium there. And it is asked which is not a radioactive. Okay, so Akleshwar is going with B, Saurav is going with C, Siddharam is going with A. Siddharam, Saurav, Akleshwar, please remember, the thing is that you three have given three of different options, and that to A, B and C. And you will be shocked by listening that all these three are radioactive elements. All these three are radioactive. And what was the question? Question was asked, which is not a radioactive, right? So yes, totally correct. Saurav is right here. What is it? Zirconium is actually not a radioactive element. And yes, if I'll talk about that raw material or raw element which is used in those nuclear power plants, that is uranium itself. And that is uranium-235 isotope. So absolutely correct. Here, zirconium is going to be the correct answer. Next, if I'll talk about this radioactivity. So who was the one who has discovered radioactivity? So radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel. First thing is that. Then radioactivity, if I talk about its SI unit, so its SI unit is becquerel. If I talk about the discovery of radium, that was done by Marie Curie. And if I talk about other units, it includes Curie as well. Okay. Okay, Udbhav, Akleshwar, Saurav, Shantu. Next question here. The electron emitted in beta radiation originates from where? Inner orbit of atoms, free electrons existing in the nuclei, decay of neutron in a nuclei, or photon escaping from the nucleus? Answer please. And everyone who's there in the session, please start commenting. It's important. Yeah, that's true. Curie family. Curia. Huh? Answer please. Question is, the electron emitted in the beta radiation originates from which particular location? Let's see who can answer this part. Saurav is saying C, that is decay of neutron. Akleshwar is saying, sir, it would be B, that is free electron existing in a nucleus. Then Shantu is going with C. Thringesh, I'll just confirm it and let you know. Obviously, there's a course from SSC part, but for the English medium paid course, I would have to just confirm and let you know. Huh? Okay, so what I was talking about this part, that is the electron emitted in the beta radiation originating from which location. If I'll talk about this, for example, uranium-235 isotope and all these radioactive elements are the one where they have unstable nucleus. And because of their instability in the nucleus, they keep on generating alpha, beta and gamma radiations. And they are generating these radiations where, what I told you about alpha, beta and gamma. And question was asked from beta radiation, right? So yes, it's obvious the electrons which are emitted in the beta radiation originates from decay in the neutron of a nuclei. And yes, because of the instability in the nucleus itself, they are generating these particular radiations. So we have option number C, that is decay of a neutron in a nuclei, as a correct answer. Next, name the particle that is most essential to continue the chain reaction during the fission of uranium. What do you think? We have four options here: electron, proton, neutron and positron. We have just discussed about that particular part. So what do you think? During this fission process, what is actually required? Electron, proton, neutron or positron? Particle which is most important to continue the chain reaction during the fission. What is the correct answer? So we have Trinesh here with option number C. Saurav is going with neutron. Akleshwar, your answer is pending, still pending. Shantu, what do you think? If I'll go with this part, again I'll say the same thing. When we are talking about uranium, plutonium, whatever comes into your mind, we know that their nucleus is not stable, right? We were discussing about neutron over there. And because of that, alpha, beta, gamma radiations were there. And because of this, only disintegration takes place. Yeah, so Akleshwar is going with C, Saurav is with C, Threnesh is with C. Absolutely correct. Here, neutron is going to be the correct answer. Next we have, which among the following is not a characteristic of oxidation reaction? So we have four options here. First one is, it involves the addition of hydrogen. Second is, it involves the addition of oxygen. Third, it involves the loss of electrons. It involves addition of an electron negative element. What do you think? What is the correct answer? Saurav is going with D. Okay. Others? Akleshwar, Threnesh. And let me tell you again, all these questions are from the previous year part. Akleshwar was first with C, now he is with D. Saurav is with A, Threnesh is with A, Siddharam is going with C, Shantu is going with B. So we have A, B, C as an option, but Saurav is going with A. Okay, Saurav, fine. If I'll talk about this oxidation part, for a reaction, if we say that that particular reaction is an oxidation reaction, what we must know? We must know that it is what? Here, addition of, there would be addition of oxygen. But if I'll go with the first option, it is saying that it is involving the addition of hydrogen. So it's absolutely wrong. And what was it asked in the examination? It was asked which is not a characteristic. It is not asking about the characteristic of this part. It is asking which is not a characteristic. Obviously, if I talk about its part, it is involved in the addition of oxygen, and it is given that it involves the addition of hydrogen. So obviously this would be wrong, and this is actually not the characteristic of this particular part. Okay, but if I'll talk about a reduction part, reduction is totally opposite of oxidation. In the oxidation, addition of oxygen, but in the reduction, addition of hydrogen. And the same thing lies with this electrons as well. Okay, so we have next question here. When hydrogen combusts in the air, then what is formed? During the combustion process of hydrogen in the air, what do you think? What will be formed? Will it be ammonia? Will it be water? Will it be methane? Or will it be carbonic acid? What do you think? And everyone who is there in the session, please, please, please like it and start commenting. So Siddharam, okay. Next, Akhleshwar is going with A, ammonia. Others. Thrinesh is going with A, ammonia again. Cool. We know about hydrogen fuels, right? Just try to relate with that. And it's very easy. When hydrogen is combusting with air, what do you think? What is going to be the correct answer here? Very basic question, but it is asked in the examination. We must be aware of that. And I want answer from everyone for this question. Answer please. Thrinesh is going with A. Akhleshwar is also going with A. Siddharam, Saurav, Shantu. Your answers are pending. Please remember, because your answers are not coming, I have to tell you. Whenever this hydrogen is combusting with air, it is going to give you water vapor. What's that? It will give you water vapor. And if I try to compare this option here, so obviously the only option which is left is water. That is H2O. So remember, when this hydrogen is combusting in the air, it will be forming water vapor. And hence B, that is water vapor, will be the correct answer. So Siddharam and Saurav, great. And Thrinesh and Akhleshwar, you will never be wrong, because once you're wrong here, now you will always remember, whenever hydrogen is combusting with air, it is going to give you water. Actually, it is water vapor. So obviously, water vapor is what? Water. If I talk about ice also, it is also what? Ice is also solid form of water, right? So Avan is there. Hello Avan, how are you after a long time? Is everything fine? Okay. So we have next question here. The rusting of iron metal in air needs both. Now it is the basic one. This is third time that I am asking this question. No issues, Avan, no issues. So yes, what is the answer here? Question is, rusting of iron metal in air needs both. What do you think? Will it be requiring oxygen moisture? Will it be requiring oxygen grease? Will it be requiring water and paint? Or will it be requiring carbon dioxide and moisture? Obvious, very obvious. Oh, please take care, Avan. Please take care. Please take care. Consult doctor as well. Okay, so Siddharam is going with D, Saurav is with D, Akhleshwar is with D, and everyone is going with D. And that's true. If I talk about this paint and grease, obviously it is preventing from rusting, right? But if I talk about this part where I'm talking about oxygen and moisture's combination, oxygen and moisture's combination will provide rusting. And yes, another important thing is that iron will be there. So iron requires both things, oxygen also, moisture also. And if I want to prevent it from rusting, I can go with paint or grease part. But the important question which is asked in the examination is galvanization. Galvanization. Now what is this galvanization? Galvanization is a process in which there's a coating which is done from the zinc. So zinc's coating is done here, and it is asked in the examination. For the galvanization, what we require? 4 options will be there. One will be zinc. In the similar manner, this question can be tweaked in one way or the another. We must remember all the concepts. Okay, Avan, no issues. Please do not type if you face any issue. Just consult the doctor. Right? Totally correct. Okay, so we have next question here. The metal chiefly used for galvanizing iron is dash. Just discuss about it. I guess now everyone can answer. Everyone will answer this in this super fast manner. I don't think so that you need any sort of explanation. Saurav is going with zinc. Akhleshwar is with A. Siddharam is with A. And yes, totally correct. Everyone is correct. We have discussed about it. If I'm talking about galvanization process is a process in which we are preventing this iron from rusting. How? We are actually providing the coating of this zinc. Right? Yeah. Avan, totally correct. Avan, Thrinesh, Siddharam, Akhleshwar, Saurav. Great. Next. Next we have, which acid is known as king of chemicals? A very basic question, but since it is asked in the examination, we must be aware of it. What do you think? Which one of the following is known as the king of chemicals? Is it HCl, sulfuric acid, nitric acid? What is the correct answer? So Akhleshwar is going with B, Avan is with B, Saurav is with B, Rinesh is with B. Yeah. So we'll talk about this H2SO4. This is the correct answer. HCl is the acid which is even present in our stomach. It is helping in the presence in the digestion process. If I talk about nitric acid, I have to discuss about it when we talk about acid rain. Acid rain, where when it comes because of NOx, that is nitrous oxides, it leads to those particular nitric acids which when come down towards the earth, we call that as a acid rain. Okay. Next we have the acid which is used in lead storage cell is what? So the acid which is used in lead storage cell, is it phosphoric, hydrochloric, nitric or sulfuric? Yes, that is also known as oil of vitriol. This is also asked in the examination. Great, Avan. Very good. Very good. Awesome. What was this one? The acid which is used in lead storage cell. What do you think? Saurav is saying, sir, again it would be H2SO4. Akhleshwar is going with HCl. Avan is going with D. That is sulfuric acid. Yeah. So we'll talk about lead storage cell. Please remember, it is again the king of chemicals, which is going to be sulfuric acid. That is option number D. Next. Which of the following does not contain any does not contain a carboxylic group? So we'll talk about aspirin here, benzoic here, ethanoic here. All these are actually containing this particular carboxylic group. The only part which is correct here is would be picric acid. Because I know you may skip this part, it is asking which does not contain. It's not asking which contains. If I talk about it contains, so we have B also, C also, D also. So here, what is the correct answer? We have option number 8, that is picric acid as the correct answer. Next, formic acid is produced by what? So we have 4 options here: white ants, cockroaches, red ants and mosquitoes. Formic acid. Yeah, Avan, Siddharam, Saurav, Trinesh. Saurav is the first one to answer this, so it would be red ant. Akhleshwar is going with C, again red ants. Avan, Siddharam, Trinesh. Formic acid. Yeah, लाल चींटी है ना Saurav, yeah. Trinesh is also going with C. Yeah, totally correct. If I talk about this formic acid, it is not only present in the red ants. Apart from the red ants, we must also remember it is also there in honey bees. So if I'll try to have a look at these options, we have option number C, that is red ants as the correct answer. So Udbhav, awesome. Siddharam, Trinesh, absolutely correct. What's the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be C, that is red ants. Next, pH scale ranges from what? Very basic question, but we have 2 more questions which are to be discussed here. What is the range of pH scale? So we have the range that is 0 to 14. That's absolutely correct. If I talk about the range of this pH scale, it is ranging from where? This pH scale is actually ranging from 0 to 14. That is, if I talk about 0 to 6.x, this means that particular thing is acidic. If it is exactly 7, it is neutral. It is neutral. If I talk about 7.x till 14, that particular thing is basic in nature, or we can say that it is alkaline in nature. This is asked in the examination, do not forget. But there's another question I want to ask. What do you think? In pH scale, P stands for what? Obviously, H stands for hydrogen. Hydrogen. But this is asked in the examination, P stands for what? Who can answer this? What do you think? P stands for what? Waiting for the answer, please. Answer. Saurav is saying, sir, it would be potency. Others? Very good. That would be potential. So if I talk about this pH, it stands for potential of hydrogen. So it is potential of hydrogen. And if I talk about this discovery, that was Soren Sorensen. This is asked in the examination again and again. Do not forget, right? And everyone who is there in the session, please like it and start commenting. Okay, So let's move forward with the next question now. Next we have tartaric acid is not found in dash. Where are you not going to find this tartaric acid? Avan, Saurav. Great. Now my question is, tartaric acid is not found in dash. So is it tamarind, is it grapes, is it unripe mangoes, or is it spinach? What do you think? So Akhleshwar is the first one to go with option number D, that is spinach. Others, what do you think? Will it be tamarind? Now, female candidates are not there, but it's the favorite part for the females, right? Tamarind. What's that? In Hindi, we call it imli. So it's not only about females, some of the males also like it. I was the one during my childhood, I used to like this part. Okay. So Thinesh is with A. Saurav is going with C. Siddharam is going with D. Okay. Let me tell you, if I'm talking about this tartaric acid is present in tamarind, that is imli. It is also there in grapes and it is also there in unripe mangoes. Green colored mangoes, we call that kacha aam, right? So here, if I talk about this spinach is actually what? In Hindi we call it palak. This spinach is actually having oxalic acid. It has oxalic acid. And yes, do not think that I am talking about that kacha badam. Okay, fine. So it's not that kacha badam. That one, it was something like this. So it's not that one. So it's kacha aam, unripe mango or grape or tamarind. All these are including what? Tartaric acid. But if I talk about spinach, it is oxalic acid. Now one more thing is that this oxalic acid is not only present in spinach, it is also there in tomato. It is also there in tomato. And one more important thing is, if it Amar kacha acha. Okay, Saurav. Let's move forward. So we'll talk about this tomato. Tomato is also having oxalic acid. And what happens? This oxalic acid creates calcium oxalate. It creates calcium oxalate. And this calcium oxalate leads to what? It may lead to kidney stone. So the person who is suffering from kidney stone are actually advised not to go for this spinach and tomato. Obviously, they are very, very helpful. They are very, very helpful, but still, during the kidney stone, it is not allowed because it may lead to calcium oxalate and it will lead to pain. So, Rambabu Kaur, Rambabu Kumar, what happened? Is there an issue? Okay, yeah, cool. Let's move forward now. Next we have crystallization is an example of what? So what do you think? Crystallization is an example of what? And everyone who is there in this session, please like it and please comment. And do not forget to subscribe our channel as well. But answer please. So this would be the last question for the day and then we'll meet tomorrow. So my question is, crystallization is an example of what? So I'll give you the hint first. Then let's see who can answer. So Akhleshwar has already given the answer. He thinks it would be physical change. If I talk about crystallization, just think about a scenario where salt is formed. Obviously, they are what? They are crystals. During the process, which is known as evaporation process, we are doing what? We are collecting the seawater. We are putting that on the ground. Obviously, we can talk about just similar to the farming itself. We are just collecting the seawater on large ground, and after the evaporation, the crystals which are left are what? Salt. Now, what the thing is that if I talk about those crystals, not only about that, there are other crystals as well. If I talk about this crystallization, it is actually a physical change. Now, what is physical change? Physical change is that change in which we can get back the same scenario which was there previously. For example, if we have water is converted into ice. Obviously, its formula is again going to be H2O. When water was converted into the ice, what do you think? Can this ice get back into the same state? Obviously, yes. So this is what? This is actually your physical change. But if I talk about chemical change, what is there? In the chemical change, you cannot get back to the same scenario. For example, if I am burning the wood and it is converted into the ash. So can ash come back as wood? No, that would be chemical change. Now, if I'll talk about the practical world example, I can talk about a girlfriend. If I'll talk about the girlfriend or boyfriend, I'm not talking about the serious one. If there would be serious one issue, then I'll just neglect that part. Normally, girlfriends can be changed, but wives cannot be changed. So girlfriends and boyfriends are in the part of physical change. But once wife comes into our life, you can't even think of changing that, right? Otherwise, you will be having all those bale and jhadu. So bale and jhadu, if you want to get rid of that part, please get rid of all those particular physical changes. So that is the chemical change which comes into our life right after the marriage. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll meet tomorrow and then we'll get into detail of this physical change and chemical change and other questions. So tomorrow between 12 to 1 for different SSC examinations, and every day between 4 to 5 we have SSC CGL previous year questions. So I'll be waiting for you all in the evening in the CGL session. So bye bye everyone, please take care. Jai Hind.